Hey, how's it going, everybody? This is Max with BuzzTox, and I'm back with a Game of Thrones news video. In these videos, I go on Watchers on the Wall, and I give you my thoughts and opinions on the latest news to break. Now, since the last news video, a huge trailer dropped, and it was absolutely unbelievable. Check out my reaction video to it and my breakdown, where I break down every aspect of the trailer for your enjoyment. And what's interesting about that trailer is that it actually broke a huge record. It got 61 million views in a 24-hour period, and that is more than any TV show trailer ever. But moving on from that, let's go to our first story. Entertainment Weekly released a ton of promotional pictures for Game of Thrones Season 7, and they heavily feature all of the Stark children. And what's so great about this is that we really get a good look at what they're going to look like in Season 7. And what I find the most interesting is that they are all wearing northern garments. They're all dressed for the weather, and their style is very reminiscent to kind of Winterfell style. And what they're wearing really suggests what they're doing. And we actually have seen them on set wearing these garments. For example, Jon is actually wearing a type of armor. And that makes a lot of sense because he is leaving Winterfell and he's going to Dragonstone. And Sansa pretty much looks the same, except she's wearing clothing that looks a little bit more warm. But the most interesting is Bran and Arya. And the last time we saw both of them, they're on the move. Bran is coming south and Arya is going who knows where. The last time we saw her was in the Riverlands. And what's interesting is that they are both wearing warm northern garments. So this really suggests that they are actually both going to be returning to Winterfell. And I believe that has actually been confirmed. But the most interesting part of this image is that we get a look at Arya carrying some sort of blade or dagger. And that raises the question, where is this dagger from? And I did some digging and I figured it out. And what's the most interesting is that we've seen this dagger before. We saw this dagger in Season 1, where a guy tried to assassinate Bran Stark. And Catelyn was kind of fighting him off and defending him. And he ended up leaving that dagger behind, and that led Catelyn to take that dagger to King's Landing to try and figure out who it belongs to. Littlefinger ended up saying that he lost it to Tyrion Lannister, and that ended up leading to the War of the Five Kings. And then the last time we see this dagger is in Season 1 when Ned is in the Hand of the King quarters. And Littlefinger takes the blade and puts it on him, as Ned was preparing to seize the throne for Stannis Baratheon. And I personally believe that this dagger has always belonged to Littlefinger. And I believe that after Ned got caught, Littlefinger went up to the Hand of the King quarters and took that dagger back for himself. So that raises the question, how did Arya get this dagger? And I think there's one of two things. First of all, Littlefinger could give it to her as a gift when she arrives in Winterfell. The reason for that is that Littlefinger will want to get on her good side and appease the Starks as much as possible to keep them as allies. However, I'm not too strong on that theory because I know Littlefinger has other motives. But there is another possibility that aligns with the plot leak, and that involves Littlefinger getting killed by Arya Stark. Sansa would actually put Littlefinger to death, and Arya would be the one to execute him. And what would be interesting is that Arya would take the dagger for herself and execute Littlefinger with it. Which would be nice, because the story would come full circle. In Season 1, we see Peter Baelish putting the knife on himself, which almost symbolizes that Littlefinger is going to kill himself to his own detriment, and he's going to die by his own blade. And that is what will happen here. Peter Baelish's plan could backfire, which will result in his own blade being used against him. And it will be nice to see the dagger that started all of this drama between the Lannisters and the Starks come full circle and punish the man who is responsible for it. But let me know in the comment section down below, how do you think Arya comes into contact with this dagger? Oh, and an interesting fact, it is Valyrian steel. Just throwing that out there. But that takes us to our second story, and it's really focused around screen time. Emilia Clarke, who plays Daenerys Targaryen, and Peter Dinklage, who plays Tyrion Lannister, came forward to discuss their screen time in Game of Thrones Season 7. And you would think that they have less, because we're dealing with 3 less episodes. However, that is far from true. Emilia Clarke came forward and said, when I first read this season, I thought, damn, I gotta learn some lines. We're actually filming longer now, and I don't know how that's happening. Peter Dinklage also agreed, saying that I've worked more days this season than I have in quite some time. And this is awesome because we know a lot of characters have died throughout the seasons, and now we're really going to focus in on the main cast. So it's really good to hear that even if we are 3 episodes short, we're actually going to be getting more screen time of all the characters we love. And that could also be because they're all going to be together. All the action will be condensed in one space. But then since we're 3 episodes short, how much time are we going to get to spend with all these characters? How much screen time are we going to get? And some news came out that Season 7 is going to be the longest premiere in years. It's going to be 59 minutes long, and it's going to be the longest since Season 1, which was 62 minutes long. And I believe last season we really got cut short. I didn't love this season premiere for Game of Thrones Season 6, and it was only approximately 50 minutes long. And typically throughout Game of Thrones, the episodes clock between 50 to 55 minutes long. So we'll see if that stays true for Game of Thrones Season 7. Maybe the episodes will average out at about 60 minutes. Because David and Dan Weiss have come forward and said that the episodes aren't significantly longer. However, the finale of the show is well over an hour. So that raises a ton of speculation. How long is the season finale gonna be? The Winds of Winter, the finale for Game of Thrones Season 6, was 68 minutes long. And I personally believe that it is going to be longer than that. I think it's either going to be an hour and 20 minutes, or they're going to pull a Westworld and do an hour and 30-minute finale. And I think that that's going to be highly necessary, because a lot is going to be happening this season, and they need to wrap it up properly so they can finish with the season finale in 6 episodes. But that is it for me, everybody. If you like this video, please leave a like down below, comment, let me know if you like this news, what you think about it. But until then, I'll see you guys later.